After pressing W to begin our holy mission, we are brought to a sterile white room. Here we choose one of two paths, the path of faith or the path of devotion. This choice isn't really that significant, as all it does is set the difficulty, and with our choice made, we enter another white room with some strange statuary flanking the door. In the next room, a mysterious horned figure gifts us with the first weapon, the Forgiver Axe.
Free the 7 guardian angels and destroy the sleeping god. Now go, mortar. Prove your faith.
We are then dropped into the tutorial, and here we're taught all the controls of the game. Sprint, jump, double jump, shoot, reload, and lean. And at the end of the level, we face a giant tank enemy. With just our handgun, it's far too strong to face. We complete the tutorial, descending into the next area. This is the abrupt beginning of the Citadel, a game with a fascinating, if very fragmented lore and world design. Join me, Zexy Observer, as we dive into the lore of the Citadel. The entrance, as it is called, is our hub world. And here we meet Lysander, a bizarre cybernetic life form.
Welcome, Martyr. We summoned you because you're the best and only asset I can rely on. We expect you to take control of the situation. You've already confronted some of our sisters and brethren, I presume. They are enlightened. To put it simply, they are under the control of the sleeping god. Destroy the sleeping god. Make them free. Take these supplies. They will aid you on your quest. We expect great things from you. Walk in the light, Martyr.
Behind Lysander is Tycho, the weapon merchant.
You are the martyr he talked about? I could never have managed to get here without his help. He said you were here to save us. I found some goods that should come in handy. Unfortunately, most of them are broken. But maybe I could make them functional if you spare some gold. If you find me, maybe I can sell some goods to you.
And there isn't much else here, so we proceed down the vertical shaft into... We fight our way through small groups of the first enemy type, red-robed cultists who hurl axes in our direction. They're poorly armored and are light work, even with the basic magnum. In the preceding levels, we find many weapons, like the auto rifle, automatic and just as deadly as the magnum. The blunderbuss, a classic shotgun for close range, and even a heavy chain gun to clear rooms of enemies. Explorers can even find a whale gun, a powerful sniper rifle. Something that sets this game apart from others is the need to reload individual bullets with guns that have internal magazines, such as the Magnum and the blunderbuss. In the third level, we encounter a pattern buffer, and I'm not sure what this is in lore, but in-game it serves as a checkpoint, so long as you have a spare life. It is in this third level that we find our first secret level, which grants us an upgrade. The blood bonus increases the amount of health we receive when picking up the little pluses that enemies drop. Along with the cultist enemies, we have the basic armored soldiers and turrets, as well as a really tough flamethrower enemy. I never found out how to deal with these guys that effectively. We fight through the angelic forces until we descend into the lair of Vectra, the Angel of Gluttony. Tycho is able to supply us before the battle. I load up on rockets. These turrets teach you the supposed strategy you take when fighting Vectra. Wait until they fire a volley of bolts and then dodge out of the way, shooting between volleys. but I couldn't really figure it out, and I get wasted every time I jump into the boss arena. Vectra takes the form of a gargantuan pulsating brain, suspended from a biomechanical tree-like structure. The best strategy really is to stay on the elevator, crouch, and fire away. The projectiles can't harm you up there. With Vectra defeated, we're awarded with the Power Grip upgrade, allowing us to pull up onto ledges that we can't quite reach with a double jump. And then we return to the hub. Here we can speak to Lysander again.
I'm glad to hear you have already freed one of the angels. I knew you would make it. Maybe you could save us. Save us all. However, you will never destroy the sleeping god with your conventional firearms. I am now restoring a relic which you will be in need of when you confront the sleeping god. We all appreciate your devotion. I hope these supplies will help you in your quest. Walk in the light, martyr.
Tycho doesn't have any commentary on Vectra, so we resupply, we upgrade, and we descend the shaft into... It is in Act 2 that we first encounter the submachine gun. Its extreme rapid fire is good for taking out the robed cultists, but it's not really that good for anything else. It's also in this level we encounter a giant robot enemy, and despite his size, he's about as tough as the flamethrower. And here we encounter the star of the level, a mech suit. In the very next level, we take it to an outdoor city environment and rack up the place. Those willing to do a little platforming can take the mech all the way to the finish line. The secret level of this world. You get remote detonation charges, but I'm pretty trash at using them, so I stick to good old-fashioned lead. Here you also gain the Mighty Boot upgrade, allowing you to kick heavier enemies. Finally, we descend into the lair of Celeste, the Angel of Sloth. Celeste is a biomechanical abomination, just an elongated head on a body with no arms, legs, skin, or muscle. Her only remaining human vestige is the somber face that peers out from the metal. Oddly enough, Celeste doesn't strike when we take out her bodyguards. She just stares at us. We can ascend her dais and speak with her.
I guess you are the one Lysander sent to us to end this nightmare. Sorry for this rough reception. Shoot me before someone sends some reinforcements. I won't let my soul be taken over by that false god. Just do what you have to.
From here, the battle commences. Celeste never retaliates as we unload into her. She accepts her fate as the false god's drone minions teleport onto the battlefield, and sadly, we must put an end to her. And here it is we understand the nature of the enemies we're fighting. They're not soldiers fighting to defend themselves. Each and every enemy we fight is a slave to this sleeping god thing, part of a cybernetic hive mind with no consciousness of its own. For some reason, Celeste has been able to resist its control, but in any case, to reach the sleeping god, we have to put down one of the few creatures that was conscious of herself. Defeating Celeste grants us the O2 boost upgrade, allowing us to enter a bullet time state when we use an O2 canister at max oxygen. Back in the entrance, Tycho and Lysander give their comments on Celeste.
I heard that Celeste had not just a brilliant brain, but was also grafted with brain parts of many followers of the city of Gideon. With the experience of many, she could give us many timeless wisdoms. I once met a person who dedicated her brain to Celeste before she died. Now she's gone with Celeste. What a pity.
I see you are making great progress, martyr. 2 of the 7 guardian angels are already freed. Also, a relic, a fruit of ephemeral, is nearly complete. I wish I could give the relic to you with my own hand. Take the supplies. I'm looking forward to meeting you again.
I've only just met Lysander, but already it seems like he's not his usual self. I wonder what's going on. But with our business in the hub complete, we leap down the shaft and descend into... In the secret level of this world, we find the Good Fortune upgrade, which causes us to pick up more gold. It's here that I realize that the secret levels are all recreations of famous Doom levels. But other than the secret, there isn't really too much to say about the third world. Its guardian angel, Harkonnen, requires us to mow through a gauntlet of enemies on a tricky course of platforms. Luckily, we're provided with a mech suit, and its jump jets and autocannons make this a cinch. Harkonnen, the Angel of Greed, is a different story, though. She ambushes you as you activate a switch in her arena. Harkonnen is much like Celeste, in that she is little more than a cute anime girl head on a mechanical torso, though she has the addition of an arm that launches volleys of various projectiles. Defeating Harkonnen grants us the backpack upgrade, which doubles our ammo carrying capacity. And after the battle with Harkonnen, we speak with Lysander at the hub world.
Must destroy!
Lysander has seen better days. He can barely speak to us. I hope he's alright. Tycho doesn't seem to have any comments on Harkonnen's defeat or on Lysander's state, though now he seems to sell extra weapons, such as the shock hammer. We'll get into how the shock hammer performs when we descend into... Again, there isn't much to comment on these levels. It seems we've found most of the enemy types. I did encounter an interesting level called Nightmare Fuel, but looking through the stage I couldn't find any of this Nightmare Fuel it talked about. In the secret level here, we gain the upgrade that allows us to fire without reloading, while using an O2 canister to go slow-mo. But it is when we descend into the lair of this world's angel that we discover a terrible truth. The words Lysander, the Angel of Envy, scroll across the screen. Lysander's lair starts with some tricky platforming, made all the more tricky by these drone enemies. I don't really why I dislike the drones in particular, as they're not really any more powerful than any other enemy, but still, I'd prefer to snipe them from a distance. I was slightly suspicious of this big hole here, but it turns out all we need to do is fall down into it, directly into Lysander's lair. And before we can talk to him and ask him why, Lysander and his bodyguards attack. He well and truly has fallen to the mind domination of the sleeping god. This would explain his erratic speech in the earlier chapters, as his mind was slowly being corrupted. After a somber battle, we say rest in peace to Lysander, the Angel of Envy. Defeating Lysander grants the Sprint Booster upgrade, which allows us to fire weapons while sprinting, and also consumes less stamina. Back in the entrance, we speak with its one remaining occupant.
I can't believe Lysander is gone. He was such a good soul. Just leave me alone for a while.
I imagine Tycho and Lysander were just two of the very few remaining sentient beings in this world. It's reasonable that the two of them would become friends. Yeah, let's leave Tycho alone and descend into... In the secret level of this world, we get the infinite backpack upgrade, allowing us to carry unlimited ammo. But, again, there's not a whole lot to be gleaned from Act 5. The angel of this world is Gaussia, the Angel of Wrath. She rises from a pit of magma in the center of her arena and launches energy balls similar to a bullet hell game like Toho, which I understand is a major inspiration for the Citadel. Defeating her grants an upgrade for the shock hammer shotgun, the impact grenade. Tycho has no commentary on Gaussia, so let's slide our way down the shaft into... It's in this world that I discover I'm holding two more weapons. I don't know where they came from. The first is the Redeemer, a cannon of some sort that turns enemies into pillars of salt. Very biblical. The other is the Zeus cannon, and despite its name, it's actually a pistol rather than a big, heavy weapon. But true to its name, it fires bolts of electricity. I found this weapon in the secret level of Act 6. I feel like I should save these powerful weapons for something important. I'm not exactly sure what. Maybe those annoying flamethrowers. The secret level in Act 6 is in the very first level, hidden under the platforms. Here, we got the infinite drum upgrade for the chain gun weapon. Wow, that sounds overpowered. Let's try it. It's in this world that the resistance to the martyr seems strongest. It's not really so much as there are more enemies, but they do seem more desperate. They stage ambushes with a lot of soldiers. They're rolling battle tanks and mechs into small interior spaces. More of the Sleeping God's priests take part in the battle. They're getting desperate to stop the assault. They're afraid. Good. We finally descend into the lair of Krone, the Angel of Pride. We can't talk to her, I tried. She launches grenades and electrical orbs as her attacks. It is after the fight with Krone that we see something truly unusual. A hallway, flanked with large, fetal creatures. We're left to think, what are these things? Are these fetal angels? Or are they something more? I slaughter the abominations to keep the Sleeping God from inflicting them on the Citadel. Before we finish the world, we get the double ammo upgrade, doubling all ammo we pick up. Returning to the entrance, I noticed the music has changed. It's now an ominous, throbbing ambiance. And once again, Tycho has no commentary on Krone, or the strange fetuses we saw in his lair. So we slide into...
Welcome, martyr. We are proud of the faith and devotion you have shown. However, you still need to do some things to fulfill your mandate. There is a relic Lysander worked on before he went and never handed over to you. The fruit of Ephemeral is the name, and we gave the relic to whom you know, whom are not in mercancy. Use it, destroy the Sleeping God, and finish what we started. Free your sisters and brethren, and cleanse our sins.
The words delirium, the angel of lust, span the screen, and I see something odd at the end of this hallway. Delirium is a pair of twins, linked together and to the wall of tissue via a series of cables. Delirium doesn't attack, and we can't talk to them. Shooting doesn't seem to harm the angel, so I guess our only recourse is to proceed to the end of the stage. The beam of light that should teleport us to the finale of the game says, "Free us," as we jump in. We fall down into another fleshy shaft, and the explosions above, we can see parts of the figure we just encountered. Freed, in a manner of speaking. And then we're brought to the last area of the game. The phrase, "Let the Sleeping God die," is emblazoned across the screen, and here we realize just what those fetal creatures in Krone's lair were. They were other sleeping gods, and this is the one they've chosen to be the god. It's nothing more than a fetus, and if a fetal god is so powerful as to drive the entire human race insane, I don't want to see what a full-grown god is capable of. Tycho is also here with what appears to be a bomb.
Our father-mother has gone, and they told me to deliver this item to you before they died. A fruit of ephemeral, they said the only weapon to destroy the sleeping god. Now I know our lords tried to bring back our god to this forsaken world to show us a light. I thought you were here to save and protect our lord and angels. You are a martyr, the protector and servant of our lord, and yet you are trying to kill our lord after destroying every single guardian angel? I tried to gather Lysander's remains, but they were too deformed and mangled. I could never fit them together at all. How did he deserve such a miserable end? They said our lord was evil, but who knows? He does not even take his first breath. He is just dreaming, like a baby waiting to be born. He never knows that his dream makes us insane. How could he, from this cold and dark abyss? Let me wake up from his dream. Let him open his eyes, please.
I tried to explore some alternative options from here. At first I attempted to throw the bomb, this fruit of ephemeral, off the edge of the stage, but it doesn't seem like you can, and I can't interact with the sleeping god either. The only thing it seems I can do is set the fruit of ephemeral and activate it. And that is the very strange story of the Citadel, or at least the literal events of the game. After destroying the sleeping god, we're brought back to the main menu with no other fanfare whatsoever, not even the menu music. So, what exactly is going on? The Citadel isn't just a great game. Its bizarre lore leaves a mystery to be unraveled. I hate to make the statement that so many other YouTubers make, but it's a lot like that game. While playing, the player is left to wonder, for what reason am I doing this, and why is the world so messed up? Now is the segment where I try to answer that question, but bear in mind a couple things first. 1. Much of the Citadel's lore is translated from Doe Kuramori's Twitter account, and the interviews he's been part of, so a lot of this will be missing and fuzzy. I'll avoid speculation where I'm able. 2. I've not yet played the sequel, so I don't know what that game explains, though I do understand it goes deeper into the story. And with that in mind, let's begin. Thousands, maybe millions of years into the future, the Earth has stopped rotating, creating 3 zones: a land of freezing eternal night, a land of burning eternal day, and a land of eternal dusk in between the two. Humans can only inhabit the land of dusk, and do so in large structures called shelters, or citadels. As they accustom themselves to life in this new world, humans slowly grow more and more androgynous. Doe Kuramori compares this to the Eloi from H.G. Wells' novel The Time Machine. And so while they may appear quite feminine, the enemies and characters of the Citadel are a mix of male and female. Tycho in particular is mistaken as female a lot, but he's actually a boy. This next part is quite fuzzy to me, but at some point, demons climb up from the underground. And I don't know if these are literal biblical demons, or if they're humans evolved for life underground and they're just being called demons. But the game's creator compares them to the Time Machine's Morlocks, so I'm inclined to believe the latter. These demons use cybernetics to remove their horns, tails, and cloven feet, to disguise themselves as angels, and that's what we'll call them from now on. There is some initial conflict with the angels and the humans, but at some point the angels begin ruling over humanity, so we can guess who won that conflict. The angels grant blessings in the form of cybernetics to their human subjects. Believing God to have abandoned them, the angels and humans begin a project to engineer a new god. And during this time, the angels also begin the Martyr Project. Martyrs are spared from cybernetic enhancement in order to create a genetic store for future humans to reproduce from. Sometimes from natural birth, but most often from cloning. The genetic material of the martyrs was considered precious and sacred, and so as part of the plan to keep them safe, the martyrs were given military training until they were an elite fighting force unto themselves. The God Project is arguably successful, but creating the sleeping god has some unintended side effects. While gestating, the sleeping god's dreams begin to reach out into the minds of humanity and angels alike, taking control of their minds via their cybernetics. It is for this reason that the martyr we play as is awakened. It is unknown if she is the last martyr or just one of many, but her lack of cybernetic enhancement makes her the perfect candidate to free the human race from the dreams of the sleeping god. Lysander brings us out of stasis, and so begins the events of the Citadel. And, unfortunately, this is where my knowledge on the story of this game ends. The game's fragmented story is one of the many things that drew me in, but I walk away with more questions than answers. Who is the martyr exactly? Were the sleeping god and the demons the literal biblical ones? Or were they a strange interpretation of a strange futuristic society? What is the story of Vectra, Harkonnen, Gaussia, and Krone, the angels that Tycho does not comment on? And furthermore, what is the role of Delirium, the angel of lust, in all of this? As I move on from the Citadel, I think to find these answers, one must look beyond. So what about you? Are you as fascinated with this indie gaming hit as I am? If so, keep your eyes on the channel for even more. After all, we have a whole second game we need to cover. If you liked what you saw, help the channel grow by doing all the things YouTube wants you to do. But more than anything, thank you all so much for watching until the very end. It means a lot to me, and I'm happy to have you all here. And until next time,
stay sexy.